Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. This morning we've come back to the coast again because we're currently being battered by Storm Dara in the UK. So I thought the coastline would probably be the best place, and again we're on the hunt for some wave action. Come to a different place this morning. I haven't been here very often, but I have been here before. It's looking promising. It's quite a good bit of sea running, but I don't know how much of this I'll be able to do talking to Mike. But we'll give it a go and see how far we get. I might stick the POV camera on and just record that way, just so that we've got something that we can pull together for a video later. So yeah, let's go. Right. Ow. Wow. Whew. That was brutal. Wow. Yeah, I love it. It sort of wakes you up anyway. Bit of rain on the lens here, so I'll try and clean that off and get cracking again. Well, we did try to get out and get some footage, but as you can see from this, it is absolutely brutal out there at the minute. I'm not getting out in that. Well, that was wild. Anyway, back to it. We've come back to the studio. It's a little bit later. I thought I'd finish off the video with a little bit of an edit on what we've captured today. Images weren't the best of quality, which I think you'll find is a bit of a pattern emerging. But we're learning. I tried to shoot at quite a high ISO this morning, so that I could get the shutter speed as fast as I possibly could, try and capture those waves. There's a lot of noise in the images. I've had a quick look on Lightroom, but I think we'll jump straight in and try and edit a couple of the pictures. So let's see. I'm just making sure that we are recording this screen. Okay, so yes, we are recording now, and let's have a look. So the first image, as you can see, is pretty damn dark. I'm just going to have a look and see whether I can lighten it up a little bit. So come and lift the exposure. As I say, it's quite noisy, but can recover quite a bit there because I'm shooting in RAW. Lift the contrast. I do like a contrasty image, but I want to lift those shadows slightly. Maybe lift the blacks. Leave the whites where they are. I like to use this to just try and get that
exposure up. So not too bad. Zoom in, as you can see, like I say, it is quite noisy. The image isn't the best, so I'm not going to worry about this one too much. I just wanted to see whether I could recover any of those shadows and bring the exposure back up. A couple of birds up here in the top corner of the image, which would have been a little bit nicer if they'd be down here, and if we'd had a nice big wave crashing over this section here. But it didn't happen. So we'll let's have a quick look through and have a look at some of the other images we've got. I think this one's not too bad, and that's straight out of the camera, so that's raw, the raw file. A little noisy, but in terms of the image itself, not a bad capture. I think all I would do is bring the highlights down a little bit, lift the contrast, maybe even switch this to black and white. So I'm not sure what that looks like. Let's try and straighten the image out a little bit. It's a little bit better. I need to lift the exposure a little bit on that one now. If I go black and white, let's turn it back a corner. Yeah, that's not too bad. All in all, I think the highlights are okay. Shadows lifted. Lift the shadows a little bit. Yeah. Maybe bring the blacks up. I don't want to do too much with the texture and the clarity. Maybe drop it just a smidge. Let's have a look and see what that does. There's. And then maybe mess around a little bit with the saturation if I bring that down a touch. And then again, sharpening's not another. It's another one I don't like to mess around with too much, mainly because I really don't know what I'm doing with it, to be fair. But let's have a look at the denoise, see what that does. I mean, it's doing okay. Have a look at it and see what it looks like after the fact. Not too bad. It's done a pretty good job. I don't mind that. That's probably, well, it's definitely the better of the two images, that's for sure. Just to see if there's anything else. I'm going to export that just to be on the safe side. So enhanced noise reduction on that, but I don't know if I'm too happy with that. Exposure, if I'm honest. I think I might want to lift it a little bit. Let's see. I'm not the greatest Lightroom user. Looks okay. There really wasn't much in the way of light this morning. It was overcast, and as you'll have seen from the video previously, it lashed down with rain quite quickly after this. So I did shut up shop and get the hell out of there as quick as possible. And when I did move to St Mary's Lighthouse, there wasn't much again in the way of images. The weather was terrible, so I didn't even get out of the car. Calibration, let's just check that and just see what that's like. Right, I think that's about it for that image. Don't think there's a great deal else. Let's have a quick flick through them and see. So that again, that was the original of that image, and that's the enhanced. Don't know about these. Like I say, the detail in them isn't the best. There's not a lot happening. If there'd been a bit of backlight, maybe it would have made the images look a little bit better. All in all, I don't think I did too badly. I would like to have gotten a little less grain in the image, but as I said, I bumped up the ISO to try and get a faster shutter speed. And I had, if I look at these in library mode, you can basically see where I was. So I shot this ISO 12,800 at 95mm I was at. I had to bring the f-stop down to f5.6, tried to get that to f8, f11, just to get a little bit more in focus, a bit of a better depth of field. Didn't quite work. Maybe I could have dropped the shutter speed a little bit, maybe 1/1000th of a second. Compensated for it that way. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but as I say, I'm learning, so maybe next time out we might get something a little bit better. But these were basically the series of images. I'll just have a quick run through these, and you can see they're all pretty much the same. The way the wind was blowing, it was kind of keeping the waves down, so there was stopping them from getting any height, and it was pushing back on the spray. I think this image shows that pretty well. You can see how it's blowing everything back over this way. So we didn't really have much of an opportunity. Tried a couple of different things. I had a look at a couple of birds. They were just kind of circling and hanging on the wind, really. Again, nothing really that kind of shouts, yeah, that's a keeper. I don't delete anything, but there's certainly no portfolio shots in this. I won't be putting any of these up on Instagram. But I think they do show how rough the sea was. It's just, as I say, the angle that the wind was blowing at, it was keeping them quite flat. Didn't quite get what I thought. And this is when I moved to St Mary's Lighthouse and had a look down there. And this is shooting down towards, you can see, this is Tynemouth Pier, which is, I mean, that's quite impressive that you can see that far down there. And that was it. I kind of abandoned everything from that point on. As I say, a little bit more light, maybe a little bit more wave action on these rocks here. If the waves had been lifting a little bit, it might have been a little bit better, but it is what it is. The trials and tribulations of a landscape photographer. But I think we'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye.